Seeding. I'm probably more excited for seeding than just about any other content that we're going to cover, other than perhaps framing. But seeding, I'm excited about because I use it probably more than anything else in my sales pitch. Now, seeding is a method used to ingrain an ideal or potentially problematic idea into your counterpart to avoid sticker shock or promote an ideal outcome, giving your counterpart the illusion that they birthed the idea to begin with. Seeding is done through threading ideas about how you'd like your counterpart to react to something into your sale. And key tip here, it must be done before buying pressure is introduced into the sale. Huge takeaway here. It must be done before buying pressure is introduced. And here's why. I'm gonna give you a perfect example in my own industry. So in my industry, we have to mention to the client that they are going to or have the potential of getting sued at some point throughout the process of working with our program. Now, the truth is, a lot of the people that I work with already have the potential of getting sued. However, try introducing that at the very end of the sale, which is where it's put on our sales script. It's put right before we enter into signing contracts with them. So imagine you're reading out the sale and right before everything's going smooth, and then right before you sign contracts with them, you have to tell them that there's a probability that they're going to get sued. You could see how a lot of objections might come up if you do it that way versus the way that I do it. I seed for it preemptively because I know that it's likely to be an objection later on. So how do I do this? Earlier on in the sale, specifically in my industry, when I'm going over their creditors and I see that they have lots of late payments, I warn them, I say that it's a super good thing that we caught it when we did. Because if we had caught it even a little bit later, the likelihood is that they would get sued, which is true. Now, by doing this early on, I let them know that there's the potential for getting sued, and then I enforce it even further and actually get them to turn what would otherwise be a negative thing into a positive thing by going, I'm glad we caught this when we did, because if you're working with us, then you have a legal team behind you for no extra charge. Versus if you don't work with us, you're kind of on your own. So by introducing it before there's buying pressure later on in the sale, you can overcome the hurdle or the objections that you would otherwise face later on in the sale. So it must be done before buying pressure is introduced. And by doing this on multiple occasions, you only strengthen the seed that you have planted. I'll see you guys in the next one when we go over reference experiences.
Quick question. How obvious or not obvious do you need to be with seeding?
That's a good question. Can you go a little bit further?
Well, you mentioned that the whole, legal team and the potential that they'll be sued. Is this something that you're essentially telling them at the beginning and then bringing up again at the end? Or is it something that's just subtle and dropped in there?
So in our industry specifically, it's in the contract that they could be sued, and it's we have to have them watch a video, and it's also mentioned in that video, which is why our sales script has it mentioned right before they go into that. However, that's problematic, as I've already covered. So I deal with it earlier on before sales pressure is introduced. Does that answer your question?
What are there other examples of seeding?
Good question. So another example of seeding could be something as simple as, ooh, you're gonna like this, right before you show them what you're about to present. So I'll often be looking at my computer screen, and I do this over the phone, but before they can see what I have pulled up in front of me, I would go, ooh, Sally, if I could get this would probably be the route to go. You're gonna like this. Here, I just shot this over to your email. Can you go ahead and pull it up for me? Imagine how much more powerful that is versus if you don't say anything at all, if you just send them the email. See, I did that before there was buying pressure versus when they're looking at the information, telling them, do you really like this? Or, oh, I bet you really like this. It's not as powerful because now there is buying pressure that's been introduced. So it's all about doing it before pressure is introduced.
Got it. So we seed for good and for bad and always before.
You got it.
Thank you.
All right. We'll see you guys in the next one.